Tim from Scott Country. So here we are, we're going to start the first phase of the Element Titan 3K review video stroke user video. Now, as with all ballistic software, all the groundwork is the information you put in. You put bad info in, you get bad results out. So what I'll hit is the screen record on my phone and we'll set it up through the app. So what you'll need to download is the Element Ballistics app, and then it'll open up as you'll see now on the profile. So most ballistic profiles are fairly simple. It's fairly intuitive what information you need to put in, whether this be box ammunition or your own ammunition that you're home loading. You can put the correct information in there. So top line always going to be will be information from your bullet manufacturer. Now, whether you're doing full bore rimfire air gun or manual, if you've put in a home load, you can put that in manual there, so you put your information in that one. And then you'd have your muzzle velocity, your scope height and zero height. Now this is the critical information that most BCs work from. So same as the information, it needs to know how fast it's going, it needs to know height above bore, and it needs to know where it's starting from, so basically zero distance. Enter that information in, remembering to take your measurement from center of bore to center of scope. As I explained in the other videos, for things like the Alpex, I use mine from the edge of the breech to the center of the scope rings. That's the easiest place to measure it. There is some other ways you can do it, but we won't get into that. And then weather at zeroing, so again you can click on this one and you can copy from my current weather or get from internet or barometer. So if you've got all flashy things like kestrels and wind meters and weather stations, you can enter that information in to really get that precision dialed down. Most of the time I just take it from internet because it's fairly accurate. And then the next one down will be the current weather. So that's the weather you're at this moment in time. Again, you can get that from the internet and they should correspond. Wind speed, obviously self-explanatory. You can set your wind speed in there to obviously the speed, the direction. You can update that as well. So with most ballistic calculators, unless you've got something like a kestrel put in or paired up with it that's a separate weather station, you're going to be relying on doing the wind calls yourself. But if you do have that sort of device hooked up and paired, then you can have your kestrel going, your laser going, so you laser it and it will give you the hold for left and right and the elevation. And then just a profile that you've called it. So if we flick to profile 3 now, that's the one that I've put on the I want to send to the device. So you turn the device on and instantly down the bottom there you'll see Element Optics Titan 3K. Now you want to click on that, and this is where you get some more options. This is the important bit. So you can have switch off inactive for a period of time. I'll just leave mine on 30 seconds. And then it asks what profile do you want to send. So we've just set up our profile, so I want to put this on a 6.5 Creedmoor. That's on profile 3. So I'm going to upload profile 3. And there you go. You see the blue bar go across. That's done. Profile uploaded successfully. And then you want to disconnect this. You don't want this leaving, you don't want this device being left on so they're constantly trying to talk to each other. So it will degrade your battery life. So hit disconnect. That's your phone done then. So you're done away with the phone, and then you can just use the Titan 3K to laser your target, and it will show the holdover, because all this information that you've entered in now is now stored on the device. So you can do away with your phone. Obviously the bits at the bottom of the app there, so you can still use this as a standalone app, so you don't need a laser rangefinder or a weather meter or any of that jazz. You can just simply enter in a distance by tapping on the range box, and then that will give you your hold there in MOA, inches, or you can change that to whichever one you want. So again, if you click onto units, you can put that into yards, meters, feet. Zero in range can be in yards, meters or feet. Your angle of units, if you're an MRAD person or an inch person or half-inch MOA, all that jazz is all in there. Your scope height you can set, your velocity if you're a meters or a feet per second guy, wind speed as well, temperature, pressure, energy, bullet size, it's all, everything's in there. That's all in there, and you can go to compare and it will give you loads of tables and information, and then tune. So with any ballistic calculator software you need to shoot out an error, so you're always going to get an error. Not always, but 9 times out of 10 you'll get an error. So what you want to do, you want obviously zero at your preferred distance at 100 yards or whatever you want to zero at, and then try and go as far out as you can. So if you shoot something over sort of the 200-300 yards and still see the splash of the projectile, you want to be tuning that. So then you'll start tuning either your zero range, your muzzle velocity, or your ballistic coefficient. Now when we get out later, I'll tune my speed, because the ballistic coefficient is going to be right because it's off the factory box, and then I'll just update that in there and get it as most accurate as I can. Again, down on the graphs you've got different distances at different speeds, where hold angle and drop off and energy, and there's loads of information in this. Again, it will auto generate you a range table. So again, if you're on the hoof or you want to print this out and you want to put quick dope in 300 yards, you can put that straight in there at up 4.91, so you can bang it straight up at 5mm and you'll be in thereabouts. So that's a quick run through of the app, and we'll just stop screen recording there, and that's that. So everything now, as I said, is on the device, and as I've done through my quick little insight video, it is really simple to use. So there's no on off button or anything like that. It's just you press the power once or press the range button once and it comes on, and that illuminates a reticle inside, and that's got everything in there now. So all my holdover details are within. I'll try and figure out a way to film through this later. And then there's a number of options you've got in there with your standard sort of features you'd get on most rangefinders: line of sight, first, last, priority, HCR. There's other stuff in there as well, so you can work out your angles, your line of sight angles, all the jazz. But if you run it on BT mode, you don't have to worry about that, because it will do it all for you from the data you put in. Obviously, the more you can update the device, i.e. your current weather conditions and your altitude, and then your lasing targets, it works out the distance to where you need to hit. So this will be paired up with the Element Helix that I've got on there, the 6-24 by 50 on top of my 6.5 Creedmoor. All that data's in, so I'll get this all sorted, and then we will go and shoot some stills and see how accurate this is. Cheers. Alright, so before I've come out now, I've come out onto my range at the front. Gonna have to wait now because the cows have started moving across the field. So all my data had gone onto the Titan, as I showed in the first bit. That's all been Bluetoothed across now, and this profile's sitting on. So I've got a target out now at 286, 301 and 331. So we've got a nice bit of a breeze coming left to right across me here, so I'll have to do my bit on the wind. As I said, without the weather meter and all of the other stuff, you're just relying on your own wind calls. So again, I wanted to get down on the grass nice and stable, but it's properly along that side. The cows have not been moved across this side, so they're not started grazing that part. What is clear is down the bottom, so I've gone off the wall here. I'm going to do a bit of PRS style shooting. So again, nice little test to myself. Right, so we've got a bit of space now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to laze that little fox target down there, and we'll see where we're at. Just get sturdy. that's giving me 2.6 on that, so 2.5. So let's get ourselves set up a little bit more comfy in. Like I say, not the best in terms of shooting positions, but we'll give it a go. Bit of a stiff breeze coming as well, but we should be good. I think that was me. There you go, and that's a hit. So first shot was me, obviously. So that was the first one lased in with the ballistics put into the Titan. So we'll just laze the next one out. That's calling for 350. So we'll dial that on to 350. Try and get ourselves set up a bit better. So not the best shooting position, but that is a hit as well. So there you go, absolutely bob on. Putting your ballistics data in and lasing the targets here. What I'll try and do now is just give it a little laze through the targets and see where we're going, just to show you the display within this. But I'll say the importance of putting your information in correctly will give you correct readings out. I'll say a bit of testing shooting conditions there as well for myself. So laying across a wall, not really on the rifle too well, but still goes to show it can be done. So cheers. Right, so we've got a bit more clear space now. We'll laze this next target down. That's calling for 2. So 2 MOA on that. I'm just going to dial that one in. 2. That's at 267. So load that one in. Just held on the left edge for that, for the wind down there, and that was a hit. So again, just going to show all the correct information goes in. So another thing I said about in the previous video was tuning. I've not tuned this, I've just gone straight off the box basically, and that's given me perfect hit on the target, although be it a little to the right there, maybe didn't put enough wind on, but just goes to show right information in, perfect results out. So we'll try and stretch this out a little bit more and see where we go. Right, so we're going back up for the plate at the top there, in the most awkward shooting position ever. I dialed that in at 3.5 MOA. Line for the shot just while the wind stops. it's really weird. Obviously, I'm not a long range shooter or anything like that. I'm no Mark Ripley, but it's really difficult to see when the wind's blowing down this way. It's blowing sort of from the right hand side of my face, but down at the target end you can see the grass going left to right. So there's a lot that goes into it. Like I said, if you had a wind meter set up, you could be getting that accurate wind, temperature variation, all of that good jazz that goes into long range shooting, sending it straight to the device almost live to take out any error. So maybe not prevalent for sort of under 500 yards, but pushing bigger distances is something to pay attention to. But really impressed with that. That's when they was released. Obviously, when Element released these, I saw these go on. I thought the Titan 3K is probably a little bit too much for me. I'd probably go with a 1500, but it's a nice little ergonomic design. You can hold it tight in your hands, and obviously when you're lasing stuff, the display within that it's a backlit OLED display. So what you do is you get a ring. It shows up when you activate the laser button on the top. It gives you 3 green chevrons to indicate the laser's active, and it's pinging around that circle, and then it gives you a ballistic readout on the top there. So it'll give you a range, it'll give you your up and your wind underneath it, as long as you've got ballistic calc selected in that, and that's it. That's the proof in the pudding that it does work. Obviously 6.5 Creedmoor, you get there's a fair bit of drop on the bullets on them. I'm only chucking 95 grains out of this one now, so I had them loaded up for for foxing. But when slinging the 143s or 120s, something like that, there's a lot of drop on it. So perfect rifle for the test, and passed with flying colours, even though I was in the craziest shooting position. So these are available on our website. If you head over there now, you can get the 1500 or the 3K for immediate dispatch. Also the full range of Element optics. It'd probably work with giving you the readout, would probably work with a different scope, but it just pairs nicely. It just works seamlessly because the reticle's on the app and everything's on the app ready for the Element range. So really nice little laser rangefinder there that does exactly what it says on the tin. So head over to there, order yours today. Cheers.